Hi folks, back again. So this time I've got my 22-foot caboose conversion, and actually I started this thing before the 22-foot boxcar that I posted a video about a couple days ago. Started this back in, what would have been, January, I guess, 2022, after Stan Cedarleaf died, and I was waiting for decals for my locomotive. Oh, what the hell am I going to do now? So I started into this thing. And so I started with the frame underneath, the 22-foot basic frame. And because I thought, well, you know what, I want to make a caboose. And I'm, like I said, I think I've said before, I'm not a big fan of four-wheel bobbers, and the more modern cabooses don't work for me either. So I thought, well, okay, what do you do? And I kind of just assumed that railroads probably just took an old boxcar and converted it, at least as a starting point. And it turned out I was right, which was kind of bizarre. But I have no idea how they made the end platforms on these things. So I just took a wild guess at how the construction of the end platform would have been done. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know that anybody knows. But there it is. I mean, this was not, again, intended as a showstopper. It's just a rough and ready caboose that works for me. It's all wood. Everything on this thing is wood. It's not a Bachmann boxcar conversion. I cut this out of aircraft plywood. It's like a 1/16 plywood. And then, you know, if you look down inside of here, you can see lines for where the windows were, because when I first built it, I made the windows much bigger, and I thought, oh my goodness, there's no way they're that big. The glass back then was too brittle. It would just completely break every time it, you know, hit a bump or anything. So I shortened up the windows and made them smaller, and then went with 2 on this side and 1 on this side. And then I ended up finding a picture of almost exactly this car, except that it had a double window over here. And I thought, oh, it's too late now. I'm not cutting it open again. So that's as good as it gets. And as far as what goes on the inside of an 1870s caboose, well, again, I had no idea what goes inside an 1870s caboose. So I asked on Facebook, and I got all kinds of answers as to what would be in there. So this down here is not only a seat, but it's would have been a tool storage bench. So this would have flipped up, and then you'd have storage underneath there for whatever the crew needed. And then inside here, this part here, while being the back of the seat, also would have flipped up to become a bunk for, you know, another 2 crewmen. And I put it right in the middle of the car because I thought, well, what are the chances that it would have been directly across from the stove? I don't know if I can get enough light in there that you can see it. Maybe. Oh, maybe through the door. Yeah, there we go. Through the door you can see the coal stove. I made this originally for the baggage car that I made years ago, so I just printed up another one. And of course it's got the cooktop on it, and like I say, I figured that the crew would have probably slept directly across from that because it'd be the warmest place in the car. I also included another table over here, which is in the stored position. Could have been folded up at some point and used as a dinner table for the crew. And this one is in the running position, right? So maybe this is the conductor's desk. I don't know. I just this was some of the stuff that I was told would be in one of these old cabooses. So I thought, okay, I'll put some interior. Originally, I was not going to put any interior in this thing, but then once you kind of realize, oh, there's windows, wait a minute, you kind of got to give it an interior. I haven't built crew or chairs for them to sit on yet. Maybe someday in the future I'll do that. The next step is to put the roof on this thing, which is why I'm filming this video, because it gets a whole lot harder to show the inside once it's got a roof on. And this one, I don't know. Yeah, I gave it some interior details, right? You can see the studding there, interior framing, but you know, after I built it, I kind of went, oh, that was dumb. I didn't build it so that it would come apart. So this is all glued together as one big unit. Oh well. Maybe someday I'll build another one that's, you know, a really high quality one after I've kind of used it as a test bed to see how to build it. And of course, again, I'm using the trucks off of a 20-foot Bachmann box car. Makes it sit at about the right height. So there we go. So I'll put the roof on it, and then when it's got more detail to it, I'll film some more. Well, so here we are in the weather bomb of December 23rd, 2022. And so I'll show you my finished caboose that I just finished up. So I got the lettering done on this a day or so ago, and hit it with some dull coat to kind of drop the shine a little bit. And if I move it over, you can see that I've made all kinds of railings for it. I had a bunch of these from a Bachmann big hauler, so I just put them in place there for steps. I made my own railings on the end platforms, and you can see, as I've mentioned before, that I'm going to go with Lincoln pin couplers. We'll see how that plays out in the future. I've only got the one brake hand wheel on it. I don't have one at the other end because, as I mentioned in previous videos, this is intended to be a rebuilt 22-foot boxcar, and these cars, when they were originally built, only had brakes on one end. Only the one truck had the brakes and the other one did not. So I just figured, well, the builders probably would have done something similar, in the sense that they would have just moved the brake hand wheel from up here down and out onto the platform and put it there, and left it as a single brake unit. The doors open. Now I'll have to use some sort of little rod to get it to close, because I'm not sure I can grab that. And probably not. I'll just push it further and further open. But anyway, there is the finished freight car. So yeah, there won't be any video of it in operation anytime soon. It's sitting just behind the mogul that I am still working on. It's going to take a little bit of time to get it ready to go, but I thought I'd show you the caboose.